Hey again, folks, this is Evan Lukadakis, your HBA Government Relations Manager. So it felt like we were never going to see the end of election season, but it's finally done, and you can be happy that you don't have to watch back-to-back political ads on Hulu anymore. So let's get down to our election recap. All right, the state capitol is going to look very different when the spring general session begins. It'll kind of be like the first day of school. We're going to have some familiar legislators around and a whole lot of new ones. Okay, so in the last episode, I told y'all that I would recap the state capitol primary races that we got involved in. So I'm going to highlight our legislative races, including the runoffs, and then wrap up with the local elections. But before we dive in, I'm sure a lot of you are unfamiliar with our Political Action Committee. We have a committee of 14 members who fundraise and vote on contributions to candidates like the ones I'm about to list off. This past election cycle, the HBA GNO PAC spent nearly $20,000 to help elect candidates that will support the home building industry in government. Without them, we risk losing a seat at the table, and when a bad bill is coming through the pipeline that's going to hurt your business and we don't have any friends, then that's when you're going to wish you had a PAC behind you. All right, I'll get off my soapbox and jump into these races. Okay, first off, in Senate District 9, taking over for Senator Conrad Appel will be Representative Cameron Henry, who was the chairman of the powerful Appropriations Committee. In Senate District 10, Senator Danny Martini's seat is going to Representative Kirk Talbot, who emerged from a pretty nasty race against his opponent. You may remember his name because he tried to pass a bill last session that would have reduced auto insurance rates in the state. And speaking of Representative Talbot, his seat in the House District 78 was won by Big John Ilg, who was one of my favorite candidates we interviewed this cycle. Next, our good friend Polly Thomas easily won her re-election in House District 80. Then Congressman Steve Scalise's former Chief of Staff Charles Henry won his first political race, who is also Cameron Henry's brother, so we're gonna have two Henrys in each chamber in the Capitol. All right, next up, Mayor of Jean Lafitte, Tim Kerner, is going to have a new title as state representative for House District 84. He won his race outright, which was a four-man race. Then in House District 94, Stephanie Hilferty beat out Democrat challenger Tammy Savoy. And the last two we've got here in House District 100, Jason Hughes won his race against his primary opponent. And then last but not least, Amy Adado Freeman took first place in a 7-person race with 32% of the vote, and then went on to beat her opponent in the runoff. All right, moving down to the local races, we had two key runoffs that came down to the wire. In Jefferson Parish District 3, Byron Lee won his race against his challenger. And then in St. John the Baptist Parish, Michael Wright beat his fellow council colleague for the at-large Division B seat. All right, that's it for our recap episode. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, and thank y'all for watching.